Hi everyone, Rachel here. Today I'm going to show you my everyday makeup routine. So let's just jump right into it. Alright, so I'm starting with primer. I'm using a First Aid Beauty Pores Be Gone primer and I'm gently going to rub that all over my face to prepare for foundation. I don't wear primer if I'm not going to wear foundation, but today I am. Alright, so I'm going to be using the L'Oreal 24-Hour Fresh Wear and Ivory Buff. And I'm using a beauty blender to blend this into my skin. I try to start at the center and then kind of work the product outwards because that's really how I try to get the most natural look. So I'm blending down my neck. And now I'm just adding just a little bit more foundation right in the center, as I was saying. And I also just cover the entire duration of my face with this product with the Beauty Blender. And I'm just tapping it into the skin so that it kind of becomes skin-like. All right, on to concealer. I am using the NARS concealer. I believe it's the Radiance Concealer in the shade Custard. And this shade perfectly matches my skin tone, and I'm using this to spot conceal. So I know the camera kind of washes out all the little spots I have, but that's what I'm doing right here. And then I'm just gently blending it in with my finger. I feel like this is what gives me the most coverage to really cover those spots. Now on to under eye concealing. I am using the Tarte Shape Tape, my favorite concealer. And this concealer smells so good. And I'm in the shade Light Medium Honey, and I'm just kind of highlighting under my eyes, covering up my under eye bags, and highlighting the bridge of my nose and my forehead, and then right under my chin to make my chin just look a little less pointy. I'm also bringing the concealer up on my eyelids. This concealer really acts as an eye primer too for my eyeshadows. So that's why I do that, to really create a seamless canvas for my face. So just gently using the Beauty Blender to blend that in. And now I'm going to set it with just a little bit of translucent powder. This is the Laura Mercier translucent powder. And I don't bake under the eyes because I don't want my under eyes to get dry. So now on to brows. I'm actually using just a dirty end of a spoolie to really get the foundation and powder off of my brows and really prep them to be filled in. But what I actually use to fill in my brows is a couple different products. But I'm using the Anastasia Beverly Hills. This is the Brow Wiz and Taupe. And then I am creating a kind of a light to dark look with my brows. I think that if the tops of my brows are a little too dark, then it looks kind of funny for my face. So I'm using the shade Taupe in the front, and then I'm going to be using the NYX Micro Brow Pencil in Ash Brown for the second half. And this product is really a great dupe for the Anastasia one. I recently tried this one out too, and this shade's just a little darker. So they both work very similarly though. I really don't notice a difference in quality. So I'm using this on the tail end of my brows so that I create kind of a little ombre. All right, now I'm just using Anastasia Clear Brow Gel to set my brows. And I'm going to take a look, and as you can see just like a little bit of patchy spots that I missed. So I'm going to go back in and fill those in so that they are perfect. Brows are done. Now I'm going to move on to my eyeshadow. So I'm kind of blending in that concealer that kind of creased when my eyes were open. And I'm using my Naked 2 Basics palette, and I'm going to be using this palette for all of my eyeshadow. I'm going to set my eyeshadow with the color Stark. And this brush that I was using before, it's actually from a Naked palette that I had, so it's an Urban Decay brush. And now I am using an Anastasia blending brush with the shades Mixed Frisk and Cover in the crease. And these are the lighter shades that I'm just using to blend in and create a shadow in my crease. This kind of creates a rounder eye shape, which I like, and adds a little bit of dimension. So what I'm doing here is I'm just blending those light shades into the crease and using the Urban Decay brush that's just a little firmer to just make sure there's no harsh lines. All right, so now I'm taking the little smaller pencil brush end of that brush and I'm using the darker shade. This one's in Primal and I'm just darkening the outer corners of my eyes. All right, so now I'm highlighting with Bobbi Brown Retouching Face Pencil and Illuminate, which is this really firm, kind of sparkly pencil, so really easy to use. All right, hold your breath, everyone. It's time for liner. I am starting with the Stila Stay All Day Waterproof Liquid Liner in an intense black. This brush is a little firm, so I'm using this for the main parts of my eyes, but I'm not going to use this for the wing because the brush is a little firm, but I really like how dark black this liner is. So I'm kind of using it up on that part of my eye, and then I'm using my favorite liquid liner, which is the Kat Von D liquid liner in Trooper Black. And this brush is a lot more flexible, a lot pointier in my opinion. It stays pointy. So I'm using this to draw wings. Hopefully they match enough. You know, they're always a little different, and sometimes it's just better to stop while you're ahead. So looks good. I am going to just put a little bit of the color Cover in the bottom lash line, which is just a medium brown shade in that Naked 2 palette. So what I showed just there was a heated eyelash curler, and I've been loving using a heated eyelash curler, so I just turned that on. And now I'm just using a basic black kohl liner to tightline my eyes and make sure there's no gaps between my liner and my lash line. And this one is from Deuce Cosmetics, but I've been using it forever. Any kohl liner works well. So now I'm curling my lashes with that heated eyelash curler. Works really great, and I do this very carefully because it is heated. It's like a curling iron, and so just do it very carefully. And just making sure that my lashes are just lifted a little bit since my lashes are naturally very straight. All right, so on to mascara. I am using the L'Oreal Voluminous Primer Base. And if I don't use a base, then I use multiple mascaras, but because I use a base, it kind of counts as like one layer of mascara. Really like this one. It really adds a lot of volume to my lashes. And then I'm going to come in with the L'Oreal Lash Paradise in Blackest Black. And I'm just covering up the primer. And I like this mascara also. It creates a lot of volume. It does have a pretty big brush, so it can be a little bit more difficult to control, but that's okay. It works really well, so I will take it. And I'm just carefully adding this to my eyelashes so that I avoid creating any clumps. All right, we're kind of going back and forth, just adding the most amount of volume without creating clumpiness as I possibly can. It's always the goal when I'm putting on mascara. All right, and next I'm going to use this little brush that it came with a mascara that's actually discontinued, but I still love the brush. So I kept the brush and I use that to separate my lashes and make sure they're not too clumpy. For my bottom lash line, I'm using Tarte Lights Camera Lashes, and this is actually a little sample that I have. I recommend using a mascara that's a little bit drier or a little dried out for your bottom lash line. That really has been the key to avoiding any smears. Now I'm just taking this brush and just blending in any of that powder that I put under my eyes, that Laura Mercier powder. And I'm taking my black kohl liner and just adding that to the outer corners of my bottom lash line. All right, so now I'm just taking a Q-tip and I am fixing all of my mistakes, just catching any little spots and making sure that I kind of wipe them away, and made sure that my eye makeup was dry when I did this, or else it would kind of create a bigger mess. So now I am on to bronzer. I'm using Hoola bronzer, and then I'm using a Morphe bronzer brush. That is a tongue twister. So I'm just using this to blend it in, using that powder brush again to just make sure that there's no harsh lines and really blending it. And then on to the other side, I'm really just kind of creating a little bit of dimension with my face and a little bit on my nose, just whatever's on the brush. Not doing anything too crazy. This is really what I do for an everyday look. Now I'm taking my blush brush, and the blush, it's a cargo blush. It's a really light pink. I don't like too much blush. I feel like I can look a little clowny sometimes when I wear too much blush, so this is just a really natural pink. And then I'm adding highlight with my beauty blender. And I have kind of learned that using your beauty blender for highlight really creates, it kind of helps it melt into your skin a little better. This lipstick I am using is just a little sample size of a Tarte lipstick, and it's in the shade Sea Salt, but it's just a really neutral, cool toned pink. And I like it. It's just like a really nice everyday lipstick, and that is it. Thank you so much for watching. And if you like this video, please comment and subscribe, and I hope you have a wonderful day.